Now that you've got the ShouldeRok in your hands, I'm sure you realize that I don't do things half-assed. The quality on this is just exceptional from beginning to end. So I hope that you're pleased and realize the value of the product that you've got in your hands. Now, as you're using this, I definitely recommend that as you start, you use 2.5 pound plate increments. 2.5 is a big jump on this movement, but it also makes a smaller head. And as you're learning the movement, less chance of hitting yourself. And you really don't need that kind of weight on here unless you're really advanced. Once you're advanced, you're not going to have those issues anyway. As you're loading it, make sure that you're just not dropping the nut on there from top to bottom. You don't want to ding up the threads. They should still operate smooth, just like we've got here, so it shouldn't be an issue, but don't run the risk of damaging your ShouldeRok. So I'm going to load up a couple plates on here. We're going to walk through the coaching. There's a specific sequence that we work through. First, we start with the pendulum, and you want to start with a little bit of weight on there. I recommend that you start with at least 5 pounds on here to start with. And there's a reason for that. You've got to have enough weight on there to open you up. And it feels weird if you just jump into it. You'll feel a little scared, so we need to get used to it. So that's part of the pendulum. So we pretend like it's a grandfather clock here. We just go back and forth. Boom. Now, you'll notice my hands are moving up and down. That's what I'm doing. My wrists are moving, but they're moving with it. I'm not actually controlling the swing with the wrist. So if your wrists are getting sore, relax them. Let them go. A little bit of pumping, okay? The other thing is, as you're pumping, you don't want to be doing it really high or gradually going higher and higher up here. You want to graze the ground. You'll hear that in my coaching videos. So at the bottom, think about grazing the ground. So going as deep as you can, okay? What we're trying to do here is get comfortable with that motion and learn where that swing is at. It should be right behind your back and in a clean arc. So it shouldn't be going out to either side or at an angle. Be perfectly behind you. You want as tight of a swing as possible, okay? The other common mistake with this is to let the weight control you. See, I'm going out to my side here. That's not going to work. That center needs to be right behind your head. It's going to move up and down like I am here. The other is keeping a tight core. With it going to the side, you don't want to be having your body pull with it. So those are the common issues. So get comfortable with that pendulum. As you get comfortable, we're going to start working it up higher and higher. Think about the 10 and 2 position of a clock. That's where we want to get to. Boom. So there, now we've got it. Let's kind of pause in there. All right, so now we've completed the pendulum. We've got comfortable with it. Now we're gonna work on the pullover. So as you're doing the pendulum, you'll notice, for the most part, your arms are at 90 degrees, okay? Your wrists are square with the forearm. You wanna maintain that at all times, or as close to possible. There's gonna be some deviation, but we're gonna actually do a pullover. And you see how I do that? It's with the elbow. So I don't end up out here. I should be here. Just like if you're doing a pullover on a bench. So we're doing the swing back here, and we're gonna pull with the elbow in, okay? And you're gonna do that right about the time the mace is right here, right when it's starting to pause out, right when it feels like it's gonna come over the top. We're gonna pull in really quick. And the head of the mace is actually just going to come right over like this. So you're not actually pulling it over. So if I'm back here and I do this, oh man, I can barely do that. I'm a pretty strong guy. So I'm going to get into my pendulum. Boom, boom, boom. I'm high enough and pull over. Boom, boom, boom. Got that part. So from the side, nice tight swing, boom, 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 pull over. You see, I'm standing right in front. Wrists at 90, elbows at 90. You should be able to hang out here. You want to learn to pause, okay? So now practice that, okay? So again, we're starting from the back in the pendulum. And you're going to practice both sides. Boom, boom, boom. Okay? Okay. Now once you get comfortable with that, the next step in the series is to learn to fall back. So we know where that pendulum motion is now, right? It's right behind us. We've got this nice, tight groove. And right there. So we're going to start with it in this position. And that point is right behind my shoulder. Right here, just a little bit behind, in the length of the ShouldeRok, okay, behind you. You're going to let the head fall to that and fall into that pendulum that you're comfortable with now. So as it falls into that, you're going to let the elbows raise up and fall into that. So, boom, boom. Common mistakes is to push it. Oh. If you do that, you're going to miss the pendulum. You're going to lose the speed of the momentum when it falls. Other common mistake is there'll be a little bit in the front. Oh, see that? Had to kind of avoid or step out of the way of my leg. Or too far behind. Boom. Right here. Oh. And then that groove becomes too wide and you have the chance of hitting yourself on the other end. You want to fall right tight into this pendulum. It needs to stay there at all times. The only time it doesn't is when you're pulling it over and dropping it in. Okay? So, now we can practice learning the groove. You're probably just going to want to focus on learning the groove for a couple of weeks. You want to get comfortable until it's nice and smooth. Then the last piece is the integration piece with the core. So this is one of the key principles in the ShouldeRok method, and where we tie it into a lot of the clinical principles and the piece that is helping fix the issues that we've got going on in barbell sports. So we want to move our shoulders through the entire range of motion, engaging all those supporting structures of the shoulder girdle while having a tight plugged in core. So we're going to take a step back away from the mace and we're going to practice this without. We're going to do some breathing exercises. So what I want you to do is to take all your air and push it out of your mouth. Every last drop. Until you think there's none left. And push out a little bit more. Get it all out. Okay? You'll notice my rib cage is drawn down. And I'm braced and hard, okay? This is the position that we want to maintain. You'll notice I'm talking in that. So we're not going to breathe out before we do this. This is called a Levitt from Dr. Carl Levitt, the Prague School of Medicine. So next I want you to do that same movement again, but this time breathe deep into your belly down at the bottom while you hold it and inflate the obliques. That breathe out is just to teach you because you're actually cueing that diaphragm to draw down, which is going to pull that rib cage down. So I'm not pushing it down, okay? It's drawing down. You watch this here. Draw down. Draw down. Boom. Boom. Now, I've got that diaphragm working in opposition to the pelvic floor. Got good bracing. Practice hitting yourself. Boom, boom, boom. Karate chop right here. Okay? You want to brace? And you can see, breathing in through here. While holding it. Rib cage isn't flaring. Okay? This is the position that we want to hold through the entire ShouldeRok swing. So as we're going back, we're actually working on separating rib cage from elbow here, okay? So that's why we don't want to too much weight. We don't want to get to a point where we're opening that up. So you can watch my core position while I'm doing these swings. Boom. See how tight and in control we are. That's what we want to be, okay? That, in a nutshell, is the basics of the ShouldeRok swing. There's one last caveat, and this is a minor refinement, and this is the opposite of how the traditional mace or gata swing is done. And that is, I prefer that you drop back on the raised hand side. There's a reason for this, and it's based on what we're trying to achieve. We're not trying to be the best swingers in the world. We want to be the best strength athletes, okay? So with the raised hand here, I'm going to get more eccentric opening on the side I'm opening, and I'm going to get better recruitment and engagement on the side I'm pulling through on, because this hand is closer and in that position. This hand's raised and it's going to make it farther away. So I'll swing, boom. When I change direction, I'll change my hand position to drop on this side. So again, minor refinement. If that doesn't work for you, that's okay. But it's one of the key things that how I do the swing. From a programming perspective, I recommend that you do the ShouldeRok swing at least 3 times a week, and you do 3 sets of 10 swings per side. You can do this pre-training. Pre-training is my favorite, personal favorite, because you get your blood flow, everything up and running. You can go over and hit the movements and typically start a little bit heavier than where you normally are. You can also do it post, or you can do it on off days if you've got this device at home. I know a lot of people may not, if you're in a commercial gym, probably not going to be okay with you walking in, swinging this thing around their other customers. So that works great as well. So you can do it post, off days, you're going to gain those benefits. Your first time that you groove the swing and you get some nice clean motion and you're able to get a few sets in, your shoulders should feel great. You should feel opened up. You should just feel fantastic. That's the short-term benefit. Do this for a month, and that's when the long-term benefits come in. So, and that's where you want to do this on a maintenance schedule go forward. After a month, you're going to realize the value and how important this is for you to just have as part of your program.